Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Dead Frontier Outbreak. Now I'm just doing this in a row, but that other video is 20 something minutes long, so I decided I should just do this all again. Or not do it all again, but make a second video. It's a fun game. Climb aboard my chosen vehicle and sped away from the car park onto the main street. By then the roads were littered with bodies and car wreckages. It was all I could do to avoid them. Everywhere I looked I could only see scenes of carnage. It seemed that those not already infected were fighting a losing battle. My thoughts quickly turned to my wife. I tried to tell myself that she would be okay, but that didn't stop the horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I know I had to get home as soon as possible. In the distance, I could see a gas station with a few zombies on the forecourt. I quickly glanced at the fuel gauge and saw I had only about half tank. Yeah, let's not go. Half tank's plenty.
For gas or supplies due to the potential danger. Half a gas tank was more than enough to get home anyway. I continued down the road before turning onto the main highway out of town. However, it wasn't long before I noticed a mass of vehicles blocking the road ahead. The combined sound of all the honking, shouting, and screaming was deafening. Nobody had kept to their lanes, and cars were packed so closely together that not even a bicycle could squeeze through. The blockage extended so far down the road that it was literally impossible to discern what the cause was.
So going off-road was bad. Let's turn around and find another route, hopefully.
I decided that there was no point in
Don't want to break
waiting
all
for the
my
traffic
bones.
to clear.
You know?
And that without the Jeep, driving off the road was just too dangerous. I headed back the way I came and turned off the highway at the first exit. I
think
soon
freight
found a
truck would just be
safer,
fine
albeit
off-road.
less direct route home. As I sped down the disturbingly quiet back road, my mind began to wander. Without the distraction of imminent danger, I began to remember the horrific scenes I had witnessed.
Why are you
just
so
an hour
stupid?
ago. Images of mangled corpses flashed before my eyes, and my head began to spin. I swerved onto the wrong side of the road, just as another vehicle pulled out from a concealed entrance. I braked sharply, but it was too late to avoid a collision. Amazingly, I wasn't seriously injured, but my ride was badly damaged.
Just on foot.
I realized that without transport, I would have to walk the rest of the way home.
I didn't know what to do.
Not wanting to waste any more precious time, I continued my journey on foot.
Hopefully that's not bad.
After a half an hour of walking, I began to recognize my surroundings and knew that I would soon be home.
Good.
There were several different routes I could take.
Main road, train line. Why would I take the train line? Why would I go through any of those? Holy hell.
I decided to carry on along the main road. As I got deeper into
yeah,
suburbia,
let's just get
more
into a
and more of the
forest and
infected
with zombies.
appeared, and it wasn't long before large groups of them started to come towards me from all directions. I tried to run, but no matter how many of them passed, more found me. Unable to run any further, I collapsed, utterly exhausted.
Oh, you
I
would
never
so
got
have
back up.
adrenaline. God damn. What? But like...
I climbed aboard my chosen vehicle.
Okay, so continue without stopping.
I continued.
I'm not gonna wait for the traffic jam, so I'm just gonna do another route.
As I sped down the...
Okay. On foot seems the best option, I don't
After a
know.
half...
Okay, so I guess not the main road. I guess I'll try the train
off
line.
the main road.
But why would you go in cornfield to get fucking lost?
Populated area. I decided to follow the train line instead, since it ran not far from my house and would be totally
Sorry if you
deserted.
can hear my sister doing
Sure
karaoke,
enough,
she's being a
I didn't
bitch.
see another soul. I finally arrived in my neighborhood, exhausted. I knew that my house was just a little further down the street, but the area was swarming with the infected. Most of them seemed distracted by what few survivors remained, but I knew it was only a matter of time before they noticed me. I remembered about a small alleyway nearby, one that would take me most of the way home in relative safety. I entered the alley, and as expected, it seemed totally devoid of life.
That's
However,
good.
as I walked past a large dumpster, an infected old man stepped out of the shadows and tried to grab me.
Well, he's old at least. Why would I throw him over my shoulder? Let's grab him by the neck and push him away.
I grabbed him by the neck, realizing that he'd be unable to bite me.
Yeah,
I pushed him
that
away
seems
as
like a
hard as I
smart
could,
idea.
and he stumbled backward.
Sweet.
I had bought myself valuable time,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't take
Good
long
choices.
for the creature to regain its balance and come at me again. I turned to run
something
back
to
the
hit
way
him
I
with.
had came, only to see that another group of them had followed and were now blocking my retreat. My only hope was to try and get past the lone infected.
Let's hit him in the head when he's close
Grabbing
enough
a brick,
that I want to
I
miss.
waited just long enough for the infected to get close before smashing it into his face. There was a sickening crack as his jawbone fractured and blood sprayed from his mouth. My
Beautiful.
former neighbor fell to the ground, and before he could get back up, I was able to run past.
See, I feel like I made some good
I
choices
sped
with
down
battles.
the alley and back onto the street. When I looked over my shoulder, there was no sign of my pursuers. I could see
Yay!
my house now, just 100 feet or so away. My heart sank when I saw yet another group of infected wandering aimlessly between me and my goal.
Should I do the sneak or should I do the stupid or should I do the doubly sneak? Gardens kind of make sense.
I decided
me, at
that it was
least.
too dangerous to carry on down the street.
Yeah.
I went around the back
Yeah,
of one of the
it
neighbors'
was.
houses and climbed over the fence into their garden. It was tiring, but I carried on scrambling over the fences
I bet you'd have a lot of
until I got to
adrenaline.
my own backyard. As I approached the house, I noticed the glass in the back door had been smashed.
Oh,
and
you're
the door
fucked.
left slightly ajar.
You're fucked.
I was terrified
Your
for
wife
my
is
wife's
fucked.
safety.
We should find a
I
weapon.
realized that whoever had broken into the house could still be in there, and without a weapon, I wouldn't be able to help my wife.
Yeah, see, I hope I make good choices.
I headed over to the shed and checked my pockets. Luckily, I still had my keys and was able to remove the padlock and open the door. Inside, there was a wide range of tools to choose from.
Oh god. Chainsaw's too loud and heavy. Sledgehammer's too heavy. Let's take the hand axe.
I picked up the hand axe since it was light and easy to use,
Right?
although perhaps not the most powerful of weapons.
But it's light and easy to use.
With my weapon in hand, I
Right?
left the shed and walked back to my house. Before I could enter, I discovered why the back door had been left ajar. A teenage looter emerged from the house carrying my television, obviously intent on profiting from the crisis. When he saw me, he dropped the TV and pulled out a large kitchen knife. At that moment, I couldn't tell which one of us was more afraid.
Let's just let him go. He's a
I
kid.
told the looter that I wasn't going to hurt him, and that he could take the TV and go. He didn't bother to pick it back up. Instead, he ran over to the nearby fence and climbed over into the neighbor's garden.
Good for him, he got away alive.
Having dealt with the looter, I walked in through the back door. I was relieved to finally be safely indoors, but I couldn't rest yet. Not until I was certain my wife was okay.
She's gonna be a zombie. You should just
I
barricade
quickly
the
shut
fuck
the
out
back
of
door
it.
and locked it, then looked around for some furniture to wedge in front of it. It took me a few minutes to properly secure the entrance, but at least I knew nobody would be able to force their way in.
See, I hope I make good
I
choices.
began searching the ground
Yeah.
floor for my wife. As I came into the living room, I saw that John from next door was standing there. He had his back to me and was clearly oblivious to my presence. His shirt was covered in red stains.
Let's just back away slowly.
I decided it was best not to disturb him and carefully backed away. If he had
Either a
noticed me,
psycho or a
he certainly
zombie.
didn't show it.
It's one of those two.
As I went to go
Psycho
upstairs,
zombie, maybe.
I noticed a note had been left for me by the front door. I recognized my wife's handwriting immediately. The note said, that she couldn't wait for me any longer, and that she was going to pack her bags and take the car to her parents' house in the countryside. As I read the note, my heart sank. I prayed that she would be able to make it to her parents in one piece, but knowing how hard it had been for me to get here, I couldn't help but wonder if she was still alive. When I realized I may never see her again, I began to feel tears rolling down my cheek.
We should search the house.
I pulled myself together and resolved to keep searching.
Probably need
I
some
needed
supplies.
to make sure the house was secure before planning my next move. As I climbed the stairs, I heard an odd shuffling noise coming from my bedroom. I didn't know if it was my wife, a looter, or another of the infected.
Let's enter cautiously.
I slowly pushed the door.
I don't need to chop someone
inside.
in the face.
The scene that greeted me will haunt my nightmares for years to come.
Beautiful.
My beautiful wife was pinned on the floor, desperately trying to fight off one of the infected. She could barely keep the creature at bay, and if I didn't act immediately, she would surely die.
Definitely push them off, because they could bite her if you just hit him down.
It was enough to get the beast away from my wife, and I was able to quickly finish the job without the risk of hitting her by mistake.
See, I'm smart. I'm so
I
smart.
was finally reunited with my wife.
Shouldn't leave it, that's good.
And held her as tightly as I could. In that moment, I was happier than I had ever been, yet the feeling would not last long. I asked her if she was okay, and she showed me her hand. Blood dripped from several bite marks on her fingers. I didn't know if she would become infected or not, or even how much longer she had. She sobbed as I struggled to decide what to do.
Off your fingers to take her
I
with
had
you.
to do something and do it quickly. If I could stop the spread of the infection, I might just be able to save her life. We ran down to the kitchen, took a clean meat cleaver from the knife rack, and tied an improvised tourniquet around her wrist. Within seconds it was over, and I was carefully dressing the wounds with bandages from our first aid kit. I didn't know if she would survive or not, but at least now we had hope.
I hope it works for you guys.
My wife and I spent some time discussing what to do next. We realized that we couldn't stay in the house forever, as it was just too dangerous this close to civilization. We decided that our best bet was to load up the car with food and supplies, and then head for her parents' house out in the country. I made sure the house was secure, dragged the corpses down to the basement, and then helped my wife get everything ready. She looked pale and weak, but it didn't seem like she would turn, at least not for a while yet. By the time everything was ready, it was already nightfall, so we decided to spend one more night at home before hitting the road. I don't think either of us slept that night, but it was better than traveling in the dark. We left at dawn.
Did I finish? Yeah! Yeah! Let's see, survived the day? Yes. Saved your wife? Yes. Tactics, rank A. You have a solid understanding of zombie outbreaks and your survival skills are far above average. You'd probably survive a real outbreak. Yeah, bitches! Yeah. Compassion, rank B. Even in this living hell, you tried your best to do the right thing, although it's not always possible to save everyone. True that home skillet. Yeah! Yeah, that's a really good game. I like it. Kind of annoying at times, having to redo stuff, but that was a good game. That was fun. That was fun. I like the choosing games. Like, I wish I could buy the breaking... Oh, no. What's that game? Walking Dead. That's what I was thinking of. Walking Dead game. I wish I could get that. But I can't afford it just quite yet. But this game's pretty fun. If you guys have any other games you want me to play, I would love to take suggestions on here, or, like, I can't really comment on here because the new comment system's all fucked, but maybe send me a message on here, or message me on Twitter, or the Facebook page, or Tumblr. I'm on Tumblr the most, but I check Twitter and Facebook often. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next video. You guys should definitely play this game. It's good. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Until then, just keep it going.